the final round of the SuperGP Champions Trophy. We head down to Port Shepstone, the South Coast Raceway, Dezzi's for the very first time.
Brand new track, so excited. Everyone is pumped, amped. What a way to end the season. We're pretty much here to wrap up one championship though, because there's a lot of stuff that's been happening behind the scenes.
Matthew Skolt's unfortunately not making it down here for this round. That means that Kinsella will basically wrap up the title just by starting the first race at Dezzi's Raceway. But the Super 600s are still very much up for grabs.
Yeah, it's going to be great to see these kids around here. It's a great track. We've got a strong lineup as well. All the key players are going to be here. No one's really put any practice time in around the circuit, so it is going to be a complete leveler. Odendahl just needs a clean day to wrap his season up once again and remain the #1 rider.
It'll be good to see the Super M Championship wrapped up as well, and we'll see Bu Levy take it, of course. And there's a couple of riders that will be coming out here for the very first time. Interesting enough, Jade Goodsight being one of them, a multiple South African off-road champion. He'll be joined by Wyatt Avis, a multiple motocross champion for the very first time on tarmac. And then, of course, we've got the Super Juniors. That was wrapped up at Red Star, but William Friend will be here to take the last two and probably wrap up the season with 2 victories.
We take a lap now around the Dezzi's Raceway with KZN local Blaze Baker. Turn number 1, Discover Digital, a very tricky second gear left-hander, and now we start climbing up the hill. So much elevation to deal with. Blind right-hander is turn number 2.
Yeah, turn 2, and you go into the portable shade corkscrew. You're going to see they're going to drop away. This corner actually drops away from you completely on the left-hand side, and then you flick it over to the left-hand side to get through the corkscrew and the portable shade area.
Massive bump here, and then again, a blind entry, hug the curbs, and then you've got to pretty much stop the bike, stand still, very, very slow turnaround here at the portable shade corner, and you start building it up and get through the gears.
Now get over the little rise, head down towards the bottom end of the circuit. It's a double right-hander that they go into, and it's Dio double right that we're going to be calling it all weekend. As you get onto the braking markers here, it's a late pitch in because the apex comes into you at a very late part of the circuit. And then you climb on the accelerator, probably up to 4th gear, heading towards the dam.
Lovely open corner, so now you start. You've done all your climbing, you're dropping down the hill on the left-hand side. Equal number of corners left and right as well. Keep your elbows in here. This is where you start dropping into the dam. A lot of riders holding their breath through here, and then you drop it down to 2nd gear as once again you're coming up and over, heading into the Southern Loop.
Southern Loop is a tricky one. This is where they do all the drifting here, and of course national drifting has been here as well, but it's a very difficult corner to get right because there are 3 apexes here. Triple apex. To get it right, you've got to run in very late, keep the apex, hug that inside, and then flick it over onto a very difficult entry to the main straight.
Everyone finding it hard to get the power down, and Blaze Baker showing us how it's done in atrocious conditions in Friday practice.
In the Super Juniors on the KTM RC390s, we will be seeing the newly crowned champion Wild William Friend on the circuit with his #1 plate. It's all about the #2 spot right now today though, and this is what Dominic Doyle has been polishing his game on. He is the closest rider to wrapping up that #2 spot, but remember, anything can change. We've seen a lot of guys coming on strong the second half of the season. It's a great track for the little bikes, and they will be able to muscle some good lap times around this circuit. This will be the first time any of them have seen it and turned a lap.
Dominic Doyle doing it all right in qualifying, and I think he's going to be a tough man to beat you considering he's fighting for that 2nd place in the championship. Look out for the 2-2 and the 9-9. Tyrese Roberts and, of course, Lance Murray have shown promise coming to the closing part of the season. But that's the man they're all going to try and catch now for 2nd place. Lance, all fired up, and a new man, Torrin Wainwright, joining us for the very first time.
Well, you can call me meteorologist Matt for the day as well, because all of the torrential rain from yesterday is a distant memory, and we are on for a dry day. It's going to be great. It's going to be overcast, but should hold out with precipitation.
Just keep the wetness away is what all the riders are hoping for. As the green flag waves at the back of this first Super Junior race down towards turn 1. Keep an eye out off the line. Is it going to be Wild William Friend getting the whole shot? He gets a good start off the line. So did Torrin Wainwright. But it looks like Dominic Doyle going to sneak up the inside. Can he get on the brakes? No, he can't. Tyrese Robert can, though. He goes into 3rd.
First race of the day, so there's still a little bit of moisture on the track. These guys will definitely not be able to unleash completely. And watch at the bottom of the corkscrew. There's still an inside wet spot. They're going to have to be very careful in the early running.
Now, these only riders I think we're going to have a problem with a little bit of wetness still on the track if the conditions stay the way they are. There's that little wet spot you were talking about at the bottom of the portable shade corkscrew area. And as they come out of that, it's up over a little rise, hard onto the brakes, and into a very, very difficult hairpin.
This is so hard. These bikes are all about carrying quarter speed, and of all the tracks on the circuit, remember, first time these guys have actually had a bite of this one, it is all about stopping and starting. So they're going to have to watch out when they come to this round next year and pick up some gearing tips.
It's a second place battle we're watching at the moment. Doyle leads things out. Lance Murray on his tail. Tyrese Robert right behind them. These three riders very evenly matched at every single part of this track. So no one has got an advantage. The only one who's really got an advantage is William Friend. He's pulled almost 10 seconds away from this top three.
Dom Doyle actually leading this freight train, but if you noticed on the blind corners, he is completely wrong slotted. Aaron also throws himself out of the seat there. That's what I was talking about. So hard to point and shoot these bikes. They are very much based on corner speed, carrying a lot of entry, and here's a replay. Look, you know what he did there? He clicked that box all the way down to first gear, and he should have stayed in the 2.
Yeah, and the 2 would have been better. Number 34, though, is not going to be better yet today, that is for sure. Wild William Friend cementing his championship after wrapping it up at Red Star. We thought we'd see the number 1 plate on that bike. He decided to stay with his favourite number 34. And of course, straight after this, he heads across to Red Bull Rookie Cup testing.
Yeah, I didn't want to go for the number 1 curse, but right now you can see he has got this track dialed in. We knew that this was going to be a muscular circuit. We've always talked about the whole way through the year, through regionals and from last year when we spotted this kid out there practicing. He's a muscular rider. He's going to do good on a track like this.
It's a big pity we didn't get Kuhn Sneyman and Brandon Staffen to come and join us, but with 1 lap to go, he's not worried about them right now. This is the only battle we really have to worry about. And in fact, look at the pace coming out of Tyrese Robert. He's got through on Lance Murray and has made his way up into 3rd place.
Yeah, happy to sit on the back wheel for a long time. Dom Doyle is in big trouble. Watch the top lines here, because this is where it runs so good. The flag is already out for our champion and a dominating win. But Dom Doyle is hanging on to this by his fingernails.
Only just. Can he keep him wide? Look at that. An extremely wide knee being put out into the final turn. Across the line, and it's going to be Dominic Doyle. That should do 2nd place in the championship. Great effort there from Dominic Doyle. And there you go, Tyrese Robert, the 3rd man and last man on the podium. Extremely happy, in fact, missing the braking markers down into turn 1.
Totally pumped. Lance Murray gets the 4th place. Luca Coccioni, one of the smaller riders, along with Dominic Doyle, just did not gel with this track. And local rider, welcome, Torrin Rainwright, into the top 6.
Oh, as I got onto the podium, a great effort there from our top 3. Didn't expect to see that man in 3rd place, but he did a great effort to get up there in the final closing stages of race 1. William Friend from Dominic Doyle and Tyrese Robert.
We caught up with our podium places.
It didn't seem like there was any issues on your motorcycle at all, buddy.
No, I just started pushing from the start and I saw the gap was getting bigger and bigger. Then from about 5 laps to go, I backed off just so I could maintain a gap and win.
Hi, my name is Tyrese Robert, racing in the Super Juniors, currently under Team Auto Styling, and this is my NGL Logistics delivered to you in 60 seconds. My proudest moment was winning my first race at Vereniging on an NSF. It was my first ever win, and my dad was very proud of me. My favorite racetrack on the SuperGP calendar so far is East London, because it's my dad's hometown and it's a really nice track. My favorite superhero has to be Flash, because he's like really fast. It's got to be Nando's because I like hot food. My favorite sport besides bikes, it has to be cycling, because I really like cycling with my friend William. MotoGP because I've been there like twice now, and I really like it because I want to ride a Moto3. My motorbike sounds like a big fart and it's really silent, but it's nice. My biggest rival is myself because sometimes I don't really try my best and listen to my father. My most prized possession has to be my mountain bike because it's a really expensive bicycle and my dad gave it to me, so it's been in the family. My favorite sports car has to be a BMW M3. It has to be mountain bike because I have my own. I haven't ridden a road bike before. My favorite cartoon character has to be Garfield because he's a lazy fart. Instagram because I only have Instagram because my dad doesn't let me have Twitter.
Heading down towards turn 1, didn't get a good start, and it looks like the best start actually came out of Lance Murray, trying to sneak around Wild Will and forces him a little bit onto the dirty stuff on the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, that was a great run coming out of Murray, and I think he's one of those riders who is going to be a real challenge next year. Small in stature, but still muscular, very strong, and very brave. And he hasn't been at all of the rounds, but the rounds that he has been on the podium.
Confirmation that the rain has stayed away completely, and we've had dry racing since race number 1. Now we're into race 2. Dominic Doyle's done it all right. Coccioni now is on a flyer and looking to possibly hang on to a very, very good potential of 3rd in this championship.
Down through the dam, you see it in the background, and we caught up with Tyrese Robert at the end of race number 1. He said he was waiting for the right time. His tires felt good the whole way through the race, and he said he just left it maybe 1 or 2 laps later. This time around, he's got a different game plan, but he's going to have to get around Doyle early on to go and chase down a higher placing.
Not an easy thing to do, especially the way that Dominic Doyle's riding here today. Having wrapped up second place in this championship, he's got it all sorted out now. William Friend is trying to run with Lance Marais, but Marais actually is leaving Wild Will a little bit behind. So the last bit of blood for the season could go into the hands of Lance Marais.
Yeah, like I said, very tasty rider. And now that the track is dried, they're starting to shave off something like half a second a lap, which on a track like this is absolutely huge.
Yeah, incredible riding. They're getting into the 30s. In fact, William Friend dropped down into the 29s on that last lap. So just showing the kind of potential that these motorcycles have got around this track. And wait until we come back here next year. Can you imagine a pack of 15 riders around this circuit?
Yeah, well, I'm already told by the powers that be, and you're well aware of this, we are definitely going to be lining up much bigger numbers. Even a chance of lining up 2 races if we get enough numbers. 1 race for the juniors, 1 race for the masters as well. Because remember, that will be where Torren Wainwright will line up, and he will be getting tons of lap time in on this circuit before we come back here in 2016.
Oh, hard on the brakes into turn 1. Look how hard Doyle is having to fight. He's having to fight because Tyrese Robert is putting big pressure onto his tail.
Yeah, once again through the dam. You can see that Robert definitely wants to get through. Again, one of the bigger riders, his entry speed is absolutely huge. In fact, if he has to make a pass, it may be the long way round.
Out of NGL Logistics, they come into the Pirelli Southern Loop. Wow, it's so close between these 2 youngsters. Nothing in it, and anybody can take that potential spot away from each other. A little bit of a different line there, and it didn't quite work out for Tyrese Roberts.
Yeah, what he was trying to do there was set up a little bit of a faster entry, but on that corner on this track, there is really no advantage. Oh, here's a problem. Race leader William Friend out in the mud all by himself. That's 1, 2. He's in 4th place.
Marais takes the lead, and second place gets gifted to Doyle. Tyrese Robert back into a potential podium position, but Wild William Friend, uncharacteristic mistake coming out of him. Yes, we've had some bike failures, but unfortunately, or fortunately for him, he hasn't had any rider failures throughout the season.
So
check this out, coming onto the braking markers.
Cleans up those tires, and he's closing in on these lads. It didn't take him more than 3 corners to clean his bike up, and he is on point to throw down some huge numbers. There's Marais up the road. There goes Tyrese Robert. This is panning out perfectly for us. What a script for the final race of the season for the KTM Super Juniors.
Marais tried a slightly different line, and up the inside comes his friend.
Oh, that
William
completely trashed Tyrese Roberts' run there, and he could not get the hammer down. There's race leader Marais. William Friend up the inside, and contact. You saw that coming.
Yeah, unfortunately just going, Doyle's gone down. If he just kept the bike upright, it would have been okay, but unfortunately he just dropped it. Look at that. Wild Will trying to go on the inside. Dominic holds his normal line. William was nowhere close enough to make that stick, and the 2 of them going off. Fortunately, Will stayed up. Doyle went down. He's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, William Friend actually let go of the brakes as it went on the grass. You could see that Doyle's front end locked. And this is William Friend, the comeback kid. He's already been crowned champion, but he wants to be the winningest rider on the season as well. Up into 2nd place. Tyrese Robert on the 2-2 in 3rd. No recovery from Doyle.
Demoting his good friend down 1 position. He could have given him one. But unfortunately, that's how this racing happens. It's no friendship on track. It's only friendships off the circuit. A very happy man is going to be that man. 9-9. And Lance Marais with a great victory here. The 2nd one on the day for Super Juniors.
And in the comeback, we saw a huge new lap record coming out of Wild William Friend and Dominic Doyle. Yeah, he's going to be thinking about that one for a couple of months until the season rolls over in 2016.
Friend in 2nd, Robert in 3rd, Luca Coccioni in 4th, secures 3rd place overall in the championship, and Dominic Doyle finishes just ahead of Torren Wainwright.
Maybe a bit of a subdued last podium. No one likes to see the other riders going down. That's not going to affect the main man out front, though. Marais will be pumped with the final victory on the season. Friend in 2nd and Robert in 3rd.
Yeah, it was a good race. I made a mistake when I was behind Dominic, which gave him away. And then when William came back on, I ran a bit wide, and then that was my race start.
From the look of it, it was very close. A nice recovery, though, just missing the top of the podium for the final race, but you didn't have to worry about that today because the championship was wrapped up.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Today was just for fun.
Now we look forward to hopefully getting you out to Red Bull Rookies Cup in the very near future. You've got an invitation to go and do that in Spain in about 2 weeks' time. So what are the plans if that all happens? Are you going to come back and do both series, or are you going to concentrate on the international stuff?
I'll probably end up riding KTM again next year, but I'll be focusing more on international.
Shown that I can get a race victory, I'll definitely come back and win some more.
You're going to be back for next season and fighting hard to possibly spoil the day for William to make it back-to-back and take the national championship for Super Juniors.
Oh, well, definitely. I'll try my best to win the championship next year.
Oh, that's an awesome trophy. There you go. Your first official Super Junior champion.
Like, this season's had its ups and downs with all the DNFs, but it all worked out in the end. And I'd like to thank Rad, Naked Bikes, my parents, and everyone else who helped me get here.
The one championship that will be wrapped up here this weekend at Dezzi Raceway is the Super 600s. Stephen Odendaal still has a target on his back, although he's probably got one hand on that championship trophy. He's going to be pushed hard by the local man, Blaze Baker, and Magic Michael White will also look to take that Kawasaki up. But the surprise package of the end of the season is Anthony Shelley on the second Yamaha. What can he do around here, having to do duties not only in the Super 600s, but also in Super GP? What an awesome way to end the season.
The wild card on the season is the Cowboy, though. Adolf Bossoff, couple of DNFs, couple of no-shows. He could have been in this one. We caught up with him.
It's a bit of a fight for second, third, and fourth place in this championship that you're involved in.
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to get a third. I think that's what I'm aiming for. And next year is another year. Hopefully I don't get a lot of DNFs. Then we can fight for the championship.
Little bit of a hairy qualifying in the morning. Everyone had to go out on wets. No one has a dry setup. But come race time, come the lineup on the grid, the track is bone dry. This is how it looked in qualifying. Bossoff taking the first pole position at Dezzi Raceway.
Odendaal alongside him and Blaze Baker make up the front row. Anthony Shelley didn't quite get a clear lap or a decent lap in the tricky conditions. Michael White also battled, and Darian Kaiser, man who normally goes well in the wet, battled down in sixth.
Nicole van Osviken right at the back on the only triumph. She really battled, saying the undulations were not suiting her diminutive stature. Out front, it is going to be an aggressive rider that wins this one.
My money's on the Mazda. ER24 is very quick around here, especially when you got guys like Blaze Baker running wide out of turn one.
So no hole shot for the Cowboy. It is the king of hole shots, Stephen Odendaal, the pocket rocket as he used to be called, still able to fire his Yamaha all the way to the front. He's just here to nail down this championship. Couple of top threes, thank you very much. He'll take it.
That's all he needs here today. Just finish up both races and it's in the bag. On his tail, though, is the Cowboy, Adolf Bossoff. And in fact, Blaze Baker sneaking through as they went down into the DO double right. And now up through NGL Logistics, he's putting pressure onto the champion-elect.
You want to talk about aggressive riding. Blaze Baker was on the dirt on the outside of turn number one. Now he is climbing all over the back wheel. He wants through. Remember, it was KZN at the old airport racetrack last year where Blaze Baker had his breakout ride.
Speaking of breakouts, he's breaking out of second place and going for first into turn one. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can. We have a new leader, and it's a Natal boy. The Banana Boys are going crazy. Look at them on the sideline there, shouting and screaming for Blaze Baker, who's now taken the lead of the Super 600 race.
Of all the riders, Baker is using some of the shortest gearing out there. That's why the front end of that Muscle and Fitness Kawasaki is hopping and popping. But he is muscling his way through this track and hanging on.
Problems for Darian Kaiser, the Uncle Andy's Kawasaki, still battling with that electronic problem. That's a big pity for him. He would have loved to have been fighting at the front end, especially amongst these two. And in fact, looking at the way things have gone,
Odendaal's out.
Where is Odendaal?
Odendaal has gone missing, and you can see that Adolf Bossoff is looking over his shoulder to see who and where that person is. Right now, it is two Kawasaki's leading on track, and Odendaal is a no-show at the halfway mark of this race.
He's gone missing. That is vital. Here he comes in the background. Looks like he's just made a mistake somewhere out on track and now trying to make up for it. It's Kawasaki's 1 and 2. Neolife powered by Yamaha in third place, and your potential champion is having issues here at the final stages.
The Indy Oil Kawasaki rider in second place, Adolf Bossoff. It looked like the most aggressive rider in the early stages was Blaze Baker. He's trying to settle his way down. Now the aggressive moves and lines come out of our new race leader. Bossoff, your pole man, hits the front.
Have a look at the different lines that all of a sudden are starting to come out, and opportunities that weren't there are now being found. And speaking of opportunities, here comes one for Blaze. Under brakes. Oh, he closes in but can't make it stick.
Do remember, not one of these riders across all the categories, but we're going to focus on the Super 600s. None of these riders have a dry setting on their bikes. The whole way through practice and qualifying was wet, wet, wet.
Thanks, Marty.
Yep, Marty Pello in the house.
Down onto the braking markers once again out of NGL Logistics and up over the loop. But further back there, Dylan Barnard having a nice run. Much better time for him. He's up into the top 5, in fact. That'll be one of his best finishes for the season.
Yeah, he's actually had a really good season. One write-off event, the second time we went to Red Star Raceway, but a man who is having a terrible time here, and a track that we thought was really going to suit him. Magic Mike White isn't bringing the magic at this round.
Oh, looking for an opportunity now as they get to the closing stages. Bossoff's got to get through on Blaze Baker in the background. Check that out. They go flying past the woman in motorsport and Teaser's Triumph, and it looks like, unfortunately, Nicole Van Ostwick just can't find a setup. And I was about to say, in terms of setup, the man who's battling the most is Magic Mike. He cannot find the dry setup after being in the wet for so long.
Tails wagging.
How you do it.
Tails wagging the whole way through. Bossoff, famous for moves like that, almost out of control. Blaze Baker just giving him enough room, but at the very tip-in point, the last time before you can back it out, Baker had to roll that one.
Elbows and knees on the ground from Udendal on the Neil powered by Yamaha R6. Absolutely amazing bit of riding here from him. Oh, problem! Can you believe our commentator's curse on Udendal? He's gone down.
Yeah, that was heading into the dam section, and incredibly enough, a miracle didn't hit one of those barriers. If you watch, right at the middle there, looks like he'd lost the back end at the very exit point of the turn. Luckily enough, the crash was a straight line. He went into the grass, but again, too much damage on his bike for him to be able to get up and continue, and thank goodness he's got that points buffer in his back pocket.
Yeah, just a high side over the dam wall. Whoa! That's not the line you want to be hitting. I tell you, if you're in a car, that's where you want to go, but not on a motorcycle. But Blaze Baker, of course, has got different ideas.
Yeah.
He's trying to find different lines to catch the cowboy.
Yeah, he's trying to straight line as much as he possibly can. And I think all of these guys, because they have their bikes in wet weather setup, and just so you guys know at home, that means that the bikes are generally a little bit soft on the suspension. That's why we're seeing them all over the place.
Yeah, bouncing a little bit too hard and too high, but here we go. Checkered flag is out, and double wheelies for the first two as they cross the line. The Cowboy's taking it, and Baker comes through for second. It's the Flame Job Arai versus the Flame Job Shoei for 1 and 2.
We didn't see any shots of him because we were concentrating on the mad action out front. But Anthony Shelley, first of the Yamahas, in third place. Magic Mike White, incredibly enough, gets the 4 spot.
That'll do. It'll just cement him a little bit closer to second overall in the championship. High fives from those two. They were in a very good battle. Incredibly, Shelley came out of nowhere and was gifted the 3rd place on the podium.
Bossoff pumped with that one.
Yeah, we had enough time. I don't know, I battled a bit now, the traction. But it's a good race. Well done to everyone. And I'm happy with the 3rd place. And we'll see what comes in the 2nd race.
Yeah, you know, we're going to do a few changes for race 2. Just get the suspension just to work a little bit better with the sun out and the little bit hotter conditions.
Blaze rode extremely hard. I love dicing with him. It's always fun. Yeah, there was no traction at the end of the race, and this victory really means a lot to me because Red Star didn't go my way, and I want to counter on this and hopefully get a double.
Hi, I'm Dylan Barnard. I race in the Super 600s, and this is my NGL logistics delivered in 60 seconds. My proudest moment must be winning the Moto3 regionals like 2 years ago, I think. My favorite race track in the SuperGP calendar, I think, must be Pakisa. My favorite superhero must be Batman, because you know, I'm Batman. Blonde or brunette, I like them both, but I must say blonde. Nando's or KFC? Definitely KFC, because it's finger licking good. Favorite sport besides motorsport must be rugby. I love watching the game. MotoGP or SPK? Definitely MotoGP. I just love Valentino Rossi. My motorbike sounds like man. My biggest rival must be anyone I'm racing with and everyone in front of me as well. My most prized position must be my Nokia 3310. My favorite sports car must be the Batmobile. Mountain bike or road bike? Definitely mountain bike. I love jumping my mountain bike. Favorite cartoon character? Johnny Bravo, definitely. Twitter or Instagram? Definitely Instagram. I just love looking at photos. That's me, Dylan Barnard, delivered in 60 seconds by NGL Logistics.
So we thought we were going to nail down another championship at the end of race number 1, but Odendal threw it down with 3 laps to go. He still has to wrap up this championship. The team have spun all of the spanners, and he is back on the grid to nail down and defend that number 1 once again.
Is that special little tweak that was done there at the last part?
One turn forward, one turn back there, my boy. It's dialed in. Let's go racing.
Oh, he's got a good start, but unfortunately looks like it's going to be Pooch again. Yes, indeed. Stephen Undal from the Cowboys. Shelly on the inside. Baker going to be forced wide. Back onto the grass again.
Yeah, he's cool with that line. He doesn't mind it at all. But what I can tell you is everyone has got a much better setup on their bikes as the track is bone dry.
Yeah, perfect conditions now for the riders as they go through. In fact, it's not even humid, which is quite nice for them considering we're down on the south coast. Speaking of humidity, check that out. No worries whatsoever for the Cowboy as he snuck a very little sneaky line up the inside to get through and take the lead.
He is so good. I'm talking about the man leading out right now, Adolf Bosov, coming out of Portable Shade, down the big sweeper and then into the right-hander, that huge double right-hander, Diode. He is a madman on the entry speed there, and he is dropping some of the best riders out there.
Oh, that's late from Blaze Baker. Nearly runs into the back of Undal. That was close.
He just doesn't have the setup on his bike right now or the confidence to throw it into that turn as hard as Bosov does.
Nicole Van Oswegen hanging on. There's a good potential for her to finish in the top 5 overall in this championship if she just completes all the race day. Nice crowd coming out for Dezzi's. Probably would have been a slightly bigger one had the rain stayed away, but nonetheless, we've got some incredible racing on track, and the crowd that were here were entertained big time.
Focusing on Odendal, the number 1 is his defensive number from last season, where he nailed down the championship on different machinery. Stays with the team. This time, it's Neolife, powered by Yamaha, and he is here to do one thing: wrap up the championship. He is trying his best to stay out of trouble.
Blaze Baker just wants to get on the podium, and he'll do anything to do that. Even jeopardize the champion. Look at that. Looking for opportunities on the inside. Undal's got the better line heading into the corkscrew. Flick it over. Watch for Baker going on the inside, trying to hit that curb. This time he stays away from it.
It's not often you see Odendal defensive and worried about who's around him on the track, but at the end of a very long and hard season, he just wants to get this one done.
Russell and Fitness Kawasaki around the outside, looking for the inside line down into the Dio double right.
Much
Not
better.
close enough.
Better approach this time. Isn't wagging the front end. The back end is starting to stay planted, so they have got perfect heat in the rubber now. Remember, that's for second place. These guys are going back and forth, slowing each other down, because right now, the man who is tearing the lap record apart from race number 1 is Bosov.
Bosov looks good to walk away with a lap record and a double victory on the day. It'll be the perfect day in the saddle, considering he also got the pole position. Can he do that? Can these two do anything about his lead right now, which is about 2.5 seconds?
Remember, Baker is on for a 2-2 on the day, 2 second places. Shelley, by the way, a very distant 4th. Right now, a great inside line, and that Kawasaki has got such a good squirt right at the end of the Southern Loop coming out of Pirelli.
Just trying to hang on for dear life right now as they come down the hill past Nicole Van Oswegen once again. The birthday girl, not having a great birthday, but of course she is in for an overall 5th place in this championship, and that'll be great guns for our only lady rider in this championship right now. Remember, Jenna Clare coming back hopefully next year into Super Juniors.
Here we go, we're in the roll-off. We are seeing an incredible run, and unfortunately, Greg, it has to be a case of what could have been should we go back in time and find a time machine. Get rid of that DNF, get rid of the no-show. This guy could have been a real hassle in the championship.
Now also get rid of the few mistakes he made, taking a couple of riders out, and he probably would have been right there. Just shows you what he can do, and he's going to leave this championship with a final victory and some big confidence heading into 2016.
So Bosov takes the final victory on the day and on the season for the Super 600s and walks away with an incredible lap record. It's not your top 3 in the championship, but that is your top 3 on the day.
Top 3 burnouts as well. Magic stuff. And that's what the crowd come out to see. Showboating of note. The Cowboy takes it from Blaze Baker. Pooch in 3rd place. And Anthony Shelley on the 2nd Yamaha in 4th. After doing 3 races in a row now, Michael White, Dylan Barnard, Nicole Van Oswegen and Darian Kaiser, your top 8.
And as with every time we open a brand new circuit in South Africa's motorsport, we know that the times will tumble going forward into the next season.
On the podium, all about that man. Double victory on the day, lap record, and pole position.
And the 3rd place for Odendal gives him the championship.
Unfortunately, in the first race, I overcooked it a little bit and ended up in the kitty litter. And you know, it was quite a hard crash, one of the hardest I've had for a while. So, you know, we fixed the bike. Great effort to the team. Thanks for helping fix the bike. And we got out there and pushed again, but we just didn't have the pace. And the other guys rode extremely well, and unfortunately, you know, you win some, you lose some.
Really struggled off the start, and then I found it really difficult to manage to pass the guys in front of me under braking. So it took me a few laps, and then I had a few moments. I said to myself, all right, I'm going to cool down, and then I said, okay, I'm going to give it one good push. I gave it that good push, and by that time, Dolphy had already checked out, and that second is the best for me today.
Past Steven, I saw I had good pace. The tires were gripping, and I just started, let's gamble it and go hard at it, and it worked for me. The last few laps I was struggling with tires, so I was taking it cool, but yeah, this is awesome. I'm happy for the double. It's my first double, and hopefully there's a lot more next year.
MSA's Motorcycle Commission Chairman Dick Shuttle handing out the Champions Trophy to Stephen Odendahl once again.
No, the team's done a fantastic job. You know, they've put everything together and they've made the bikes work, and that's the most important thing. Like the rider and the bike working together, and that's when you win championships.
Super GP's Clinton Seller here to wrap up the championship. It's pretty much a formality. He still has to compete. He still has to complete the races. The change-up is going to be for second place in the championship, as we've got Matthew Scott stepping out to do international duties and no show for Kershaw, which means Lance Isaacs and the rest will be climbing the ladder. We already spoke to Brent Herron. He's feeling very good on this circuit, and this is going to be a race that blows wide open. Then we're going to throw in another real strong grid and lineup for the Super M's. Jade Goodsight, hometown hero. We're not going to talk about anyone else. He has got all the weight on his shoulders, trying to show everybody how to go around his track.
The proudly Bidvest man is going to give the normal Yamaha boys a good run for their money, even though he's in Super M. But remember, Anthony Shelley steps up on the Nashua M-Tech machine, and we're riding in both categories. We've already seen him in action in the 600s. He's now going to step up into what is not Super Pole due to the tricky conditions and wet race being declared at the beginning of the day. It's now time for Super M and Super GP to go mono for the first time.
Well, incredibly enough, Jade Goodsight on the proudly Bidvest Yamaha, a Super M competitor in his first national event, qualifies in third position to make it onto the front row.
Kawasaki of Brent Herron looked good all weekend, and you picked up on the fact that he was loving life down here at Dezzi's. So much so, he got to second place on the grid.
Yeah, not so much a horsepower circuit, all about second and third gears. So not able to unleash the full potential of these 1000cc machines. That was not a problem for Clinton Seller though. He was doing a great job the whole way through practice and threw down the biggest number to once again be the king of qualifying this time and remain the king of Superpole.
He wins out over Herron and Goodsight. Brennan Good in fourth place. Anthony Shelley, his teammate. Lance Isaacs battling a little bit in sixth. Luan van Zel, Leon van Rockenberg, Yanni Mol and Dylan Gray.
So Seller here to nail down another championship and keep that number one plate.
Yeah, see, all the other guys went fast. It was a balancing game, lots of fun, lots of tactics. So, but we'll see. I think the dry is a different ball game. It's a lot more fun, a lot more energy exerted in the dry race. So, yeah, let's see if the weather holds off, and we should have a good show for everybody.
Hi, I'm Nicholas Kershaw. I race in the SuperGP Championship Trophy for Tsunami Beach Bar BMW. This is my NGL logistics delivered in 60 seconds. My proudest moment was definitely my race win in the 600cc category in Cape Town in 2010. My favorite racetrack definitely has to be Cape Town. I love the fast flowing circuit. My favorite superhero is definitely Superman. Blonde or brunette, that would definitely be brunette. Nando's or KFC would definitely be Nando's, healthier choice. My favorite sport other than motorsport would be boxing. It's what I do for fitness. MotoGP or SBK, definitely MotoGP, Valentino Rossi supporter. My motorbike definitely sounds like my biggest rival will definitely be Brent Herron and Lance Isaacs. My most prized position would definitely be my bike. Without it, I wouldn't be able to race. My favorite sports car would be an Aston Martin. Mountain bike or road bike, mountain bike would be a lot more fun. My favorite actress would definitely be Mila Kunis. Twitter or Instagram, Instagram. That's me, Nicholas Kershaw, delivered in 60 seconds by NGL Logistics.
As they line up on the grid, have a look at the way that those tyre warmers are going. They're going onto the Pirelli rubber, not the wets. It's been wet all weekend, but perfect conditions have arrived. In fact, if you get down to the south coast, you don't want the heat of the day and the humidity to contend with. So overcast conditions are almost ideal.
18 laps for them to go out. No one will know what 18 laps in the drive feels like. So the first half of the race is going to be all about feeling out the conditions and seeing how you can cope. Unfortunately, Jay Goodsight getting beaten off the front row. He gets up and he is running in 5th place in the early stages with Lance Isaacs right behind him. Isaacs having real problems setting up his bike after coming back from testing in Europe, and the bike only arriving the day before the race.
Yeah, so you had to get it all sorted out, which was not ideal. But it's the other two Yamahas that muscled their way past Jade Goodsight. Remember, he hasn't had a lot of time on a motorcycle on tarmac. He's had oodles of time when it goes to off-road. So if the bike does go off track at any stage, which Clint Seller nearly does right there, wow! Seller running wide down into Diode, and opportunities were opening up for Brand Herron. He had a look on the inside, couldn't quite make it stick. If he looks in the rearview mirrors, it's the two Nashua M-Tech bikes on his tail, and right now it's good, leading from Shelley.
Yeah, you can see the top two. We saw it the whole way through practice in the wet and in qualifying, but now as soon as it is dried out, you can see that Herron has the fight in him today. He's had some massive problems on the season as far as the championship goes, but he is taking the fight all the way to the front. It's going to be between the two sparring teammates, and welcome to 1000cc Superbike Racing and Super GPs to Shelley. He is going to have to go after good the rest of the day.
Great effort from the M-Tech team and Ricky Moraes to say to Anthony, listen, jump on board our third R1 and go and have some fun out there. No team orders, nothing expected of you. Just go out there and do what you can. It bodes well for 2016, especially if Matthew Scholz has got more international duties to attend to. It might just give Ricky Moraes another option in that team for the 1000 class.
By the quarter marker of the race, Seller improving from a fastest lap in the wet on a 1:21 to a 1:15.6 and stays in the 15s to stretch away from Herron in second.
Shelley snuck up to 3rd place, gets past on Brandon Good. Talking of lap times, Anthony Shelley also getting into the 16s. 16.7 coming out of him, 16.1 coming out of Herron, and a 16.9 out of Brandon Good. So basically the first 4 motorcycles on track are now officially the fastest 4 machines ever to go around Dezzi's.
Goodsight runs in 5th place, leading the Super M's by a country mile, and possibly more importantly, leading out one of our country's best superbike racers, Lance Isaacs, having real problems on this circuit, running in 6th place, but on the back wheel of Goodsight.
Incredibly can't find a way through on Goodsight, and that's something that Lance Isaacs will be scratching his head about in the pit after this race to try and get it sorted for race number 2 a bit later on in the afternoon. Anthony Shelley starting to open up. Here we go to that battle. Look at Goodsight. Great line to him. Yes, the style's not there just yet, but give that man a couple more seasons on a motorcycle. In fact, give him a couple more weekends on a motorcycle, and that style will be dialed in.
Well, he's in the right place. He can throw as many laps around this track as he wants to, but to prepare himself for the length of these races and the pure speed of the new machine that he is on, he actually made a trip up to Pekisa and threw down more than respectable lap times and raised a lot of eyebrows in motorsport.
42s and 43s we've been running at Pekisa, which is an incredible lap time for a man who's never been on the black stuff on a motorcycle. So heads up, everybody. If this is what he can do in Super M, I just hope that he follows on and comes to play in Super GP next year.
Yep. Super Enduro, off-road, Enduro, V8, supercar racing, and drifting. What else can Jade Goodsight do?
I'll chuck in a couple more. Time attack and, of course, hill climb as well. Anything with wheels he can go well on. So does this man, especially if we've got 2 of them. Remember, this is potentially a 4-time champion, back-to-back. And when that checkered flag comes out, that's exactly what he's going to be.
Yeah, Seller is the class of the field. He has been the class of the season and is odds on to go on and defend that number 1 plate again and again and again. Switching machinery as well. It looks like it's been easy from the outside. It wasn't. But as Seller and Peter Wilkins from Yamaha say, this machine out of the box is just that, a machine.
Yeah, it's incredible how this Yamaha has become one of the motorcycles to have. On the inside is a bike that used to be one of the motorcycles they have, the GSXR 750 with Johnny Cricker on board, and he's fighting for 5th place overall in Super M.
Shelley, Goody, they are all locked together, running in the 16 bracket as they come up on the lappers. Another new man to racing and a local rider down on the scene, and another Yamaha R1, Dylan Gray, but he's having some major problems with the blue flags as Goody has to climb up the inside and almost back it out of that one. That got a little bit gnarly.
Yeah, he just forced his way in there, wasn't going to back out, fortunately. Blue flags are waving, but I don't think Dylan Gray saw it. He's just trying to hang on to survive 16 of 18 laps. On his tail, Wyatt Avis, multiple South African and international motocross rider, having a great outing on his Kawasaki ZX6.
Yeah, with the last lap looming, it is all about Goody trying to close down on Shelley. Pretty much the only battle on track, well, not counting the fact that Lance Isaacs cannot get past Jade Goodsight, but remember, they are racing in two different categories. That said, it is for bragging rights to be 5th on the day in the first race.
And as we always say, first in your team. So a good effort there from Shelley. He's trying to hang on for dear life, but Goody is going to probably take him to the line and keep him honest until that checkered flag comes out. The flag is about to come out for Clinsella, and that means it's 4 times 4.
Yep. He has done the business. He can pretty much pack up. We know that's not his scene. And when you see the celebrations out of Sella, it is not just for yet another victory of the season. It's for the big one and to keep that #1 plate on his wagon.
Great effort from Clinsella. Evil Knievel has gone 4 times 4. That's 4 championships in a row, ladies and gents. Sella from Harron, Shelley, then Goody. Jade Goodsight, incredibly, first of the Super M's, up in 5th place, beating Lance Isaacs with Gray and Avis on the podium with him for Super M.
Great lineup, and what a good call for bringing us down here to the brand new circuit to end off the season.
I'm very happy with this team. We went out now, my front tire was still cold, and I just rode the first 3 laps to get the tire hot, and then I put the hammer down and I had to go.
Yeah, I thought I was going to do a bit better, I'll be honest. I was expecting more. But hats off, I take my hat off to Clint. He rode really well. I was trying everything I could there and I had nothing for him. On the drive, he was just killing me. He was getting on the gas so early. So well done to him.
Yeah, you know, it's an incredible weapon. Every time I ride this bike, it actually blows my mind. You know, I go far beyond I'd ever thought I could. And it just grips and drives. And yeah, I think I felt Brent had me in the dry as well. So literally I was amazed what this bike could let me do.
So lining up for the final race of the day. Could you get more factory than Jade Goodsight? He is a factory superstar already, and he's only done 1 national superbike race so far.
Yeah, and he's not even in Super GP yet. He's only Super M, but he's on the front row yet again. And as they head down, he's going to try and get a much better start, and that's exactly what he's done. We could see the local man, and of course the namesake of this track, taking the whole shot. He's gone side by side with Sella.
Yeah, he almost had to pick it up there as well, but he is good enough to hang on to 2nd place. Massive improvement after coming up into the corkscrew in 5th place. This time around, he is chasing down Sella. Could we see something unbelievable happen and a Super M rider trouble the champ?
Can't wait to see if he can
Harron
get through.
getting involved
Harron
there.
has to get up there. He got a terrible start. Shoves it up the inside of Brandon Good and now goes hunting for his good friend Lance Isaacs. Isaacs with a slightly better start, but we saw how he battled and he's still battling as Harron goes on the inside into the Diode double right.
As you were watching Harron, I was watching Shelley. Shelley swept around going into Diode, got across the front end of Jade Goodsight, and it's Shelley that now runs in the 2 spot.
Just behind was Wyatt Avis going on the inside of Johnny Cricker. So Super M has lit up a little bit further back, but Super GP versus Super M at the front. This time mono, not like in Cape Town where we gave the opportunity for the Super M riders to start behind. It's now even Stevens, and what a dice we got on our hands.
Someone just lit the fuse on this one because Harron got a block pass going on the motocross man, and Harron is now in charge, on fire, going through into 3rd place. Goodsight is doing a great job right now, but it is desperate times out front. Harron is needing to get up there.
Potential for Goodsight to finish on the podium overall. Never mind just on the Super M podium. That's how well he's going right now. Lance Isaacs under attack, and he's under attack from Brandon Good. Goody looking for an opportunity to get past on Isaacs early on. He has to try and make it stick. You can see that BMW, the Black Swan BMW, has worked well almost all season long. However, there's just not been enough time to get it sorted out for Dezzi, as he only got it last night.
Yeah, exactly right. And unfortunately, it looked at 2 rounds ago that Isaacs had actually written off the season. He's going to call it another development year. Every single season, this BMW gets a little bit stronger. In some ways, though, it becomes a bit more of a handful, and I know the BMW guys won't like me saying that, but they're going to have to find a better way of getting that thing anchored up and stopped at these races.
Now, the brakes were an issue. They tried to sort that out. Now we're still finding a little bit of suspension gurus that have to be found to make that bike work. Remember, it works on electronic suspension, unlike the other motorcycles out there. So let's see what they can do in the off-season to make that Black Swan BMW more competitive and in with a shot of this championship.
Remember, next year, a chance of 5 manufacturers in it as Goody finally finds a hole. Real wide line there on the entry, and it looked like Isaacs just could not get that thing stopped in time. Once again, Goody is through.
Heron up to second place now, gets through on Anthony Shelley. Anthony Shelley has had one of the best days riding this young man's ever had in his life. He's had 2 great efforts in the Super 600s, and he's looking for a potential double podium, and if he does that, probably get the Rookie of the Day.
Yeah, he's had a couple of days in the past. I think it was 2 years ago where he was trying to go at it on the Kawasaki side of things in the 600s and the 1000s. Didn't run this good, though, and he's got a perfect fitting on the Yamahas.
Speaking of a perfect fitting on a Yamaha, that's that man right there, Jade Goodsight. Keeping out one of the factory machines. That's Brandon Good on his tail, looking for an opportunity to sneak through. Can he do the same as what he did to Isaacs?
Yeah, spot
Carbon
on.
copy.
Spot on, and Jade actually saw that coming as well. He won't mind that one little bit. He'll be able to run exactly the same speed, possibly do a little bit of learning for Goody, because Goody has found his feet here in race number 2 at the halfway marker and is on the same lap times as the guys running up the road.
Speaking of lap times, the lap times haven't come down just yet, but Clint Stella is starting to turn the wick up as we get into the back markers. And in fact, on that last pass, got down into what is now the official lap record at Dezzi's of a 1:15.525.
Remember, Heron is looking to stay on Kawasaki, speaking to a couple of other teams, but I think he's going to stay with the green machine, and they know they are bringing a competitive machine along for the ride for 2016. 2016 may set itself up to be our best national superbike racing year yet.
Yeah, Diode Super GP is going to see the return possibly of Suzuki and of Honda, and that's what we're looking forward to. But further back in the field, you can see local riders having a little in-house battle of their own. Lewin van Zyl looking back. You can see Dylan Gray coming along. White Avis is up there too, and about to get eaten up by a ZX-10.
Yeah, unfortunately, Lewin van Zyl having a rough run. Looked like he smoked his tires in race number 1, and he's going to have to bow out, as threading the needle is Brent Heron, making mincemeat of the lappers. Good little dice, though, for the Super M's. A Yamaha R1000cc versus a Kawasaki ZX6. Great to see the different styles, and do watch out for the style of Wyatt Avis. He's not a superbike rider yet. He is sitting right in the middle of that machine.
He's looking to step up into some very good boots that have done this switch over from motocross into superbike racing. And I can tell you something, there's a lot of guys that'll be looking at Wyatt Avis going, hang on a second, the last time we saw that happen was with a Frenchman.
Yep, Jean-Michel Bale. Thank you very much. You were with me there. Yeah, Wyatt carrying a ton of injuries from his long and illustrious motocross career, carrying a lot of back injuries as well. And he actually said superbikes is, well, I won't say how easy he said it was. It says a lot easier on his back. Thank you very much. Much less pain.
A lot less pain. Johnny Cricker being lapped by the champion as he comes through. Completing the season with a double victory on the day is exactly what Kinsella wanted to do. Little wave to the Yamaha boys sitting in their boat just on the left-hand side there. They're going to be ecstatic. It's been 8 years in the wanting for Yamaha to have a number 1 plate on their bike, and they've got 2 today.
Yeah, Sean White will be tuning in and watching the live feed, and no doubt sending SMSs galore, high-fiving the champ once again. Started the season on different machinery. As soon as he crossed over the Yamahas, it was dominance.
1, 2, and 3 on the podium. There they are, side by side. It's 2 Yamahas and a Kawasaki that split them in the middle. Seller from Heron and Shelley. Brandon Good eventually beating Jade Goodsight, who once again kept Lance Isaacs out, and Grant Avis made up the Super M podium.
And that wraps up all of the racing for the season. High fives all around. Heron left nothing on the table at this round. And in the Super GPs, the Premier class is all about Seller. In the Super M's, we've got a brand new rider on the top, Jade Goodsight. Dylan Gray taking second place, and Wyatt Avis in third. We caught up with Jade Goodsight.
This is very new for me, so I didn't want to jump completely into the deep end with the guys, but we still raced together and it was good fun. And if I can get a trophy in the Super M's and maybe next year go up to the Super GP, it'll be cool for Yamaha.
Super M champion for 2015 out of Moto Klerksdorp KTM, Bo Levy. We caught up with the big guy.
Yes, I'd love to come ride next year. We'll see what the rules does. And the bots is coming with the gas sport, so it's going to be perfect for us riding our bikes in our class.
And the the final podium on the day. Incredible result for the champ with Harron and Shelley along for the ride.
Yeah, it was a good day. I really enjoyed it. Went well today. The second race now was a bit better. And I don't know, I'd like to thank Uncle Ricky and Nashia MTech Yamaha for everything they've done for me this year. And I would looking forward to riding with them next year again.
Even with the changes that may be made to the points, I'm still going to be third anyway, as far as I know. Yeah, quite chuffed, like you said, after all the ups and downs we've had this season. Really stoked. Big thanks to Metal Center Kawasaki, everyone else that's got me at RD Racing, Odin Power Sports, all the boys, Marasa, KBD. They're the guys that got me on the grid. Hopefully next year the new Kawasaki's coming out, so be a little bit more competitive and give them a run for the money.
Stephen Watson going to hand out the final trophy, and that's your Super GP champion for 2015. Ladies and gents, make some noise.
The race was intense. The season was intense. To be honest, out of all the championships that I've had so far, this has been the hardest, but I really enjoyed it. It's been the most rewarding for sure.
Matty, we've just seen all the champions crowned and given their trophies. What an incredible way to finish up the season here at Dezzi South Coast Raceway.
Yeah, the day has been all about the arrival of this new circuit. We've wrapped up the championship. There's been a lot of stories on the season. Yamaha have come back into it in a big way. For next year, we've been kind of throwing the bone out there, saying we've got maybe 2 more manufacturers. We've got the inclusion of the Northern Region Championship. We've got the bots coming and arriving. I think we're going to underline this year and say we all survived this year. Next year is going to be a banger.
We certainly have, and we're looking forward to that one as we wrap things up here at Dezzi South Coast Raceway. The final round of the Diode Super GP Champions Trophy. It's been phenomenal to be down here on the South Coast in Natal, and we look forward to 2016, where we'll bring you more and even better action in the Diode Super GP Champions Trophy.